Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason with Jadren Aquatics. Thanks for joining me again. This will be part 2 of Patrick's fish room, the mechanics, or actually part 4 to the entire series. Did a lot of filming there because there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and he has a huge fish room with thousands of gallons of water. So this is the final installment of it, so you guys can see the rest of what is going on with the filtration and how he's heating. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up so you guys can finish this thing out.
Anyway, there's a lot of filtration happening, but the main filtration that happens in the grow bed, you have plants. And these plants, these are peace lilies up here, pothos ivy, yerba immensa is right here. I think I've got some mint right here. I've got some other stuff growing, and the other one I have bamboo. Again, there's a tomato plant. I've grown cucumbers. There's ivy, aloe, the pothos ivy, and then the aloe. We can look back at the plants because I've had this system running longer, and you can see I've even got pothos in the back that's growing up the wall. That's all peace lily. All of this and what these plants are doing, and the pothos that's in the hang-on-back filters and stuff like that, it is all taking all those nutrients that those fish are producing, okay, from their waste, and it's filtering the water so that when it comes back in, it goes and it has filtered the water for the fish.
So then it starts at the top tank.
Yes.
Gravity feeds down into the next tank.
Yep.
And then how does it?
The gutter.
From the gutter.
The gutter feeds back around.
Okay.
Into the sump.
Gravity, still all gravity into the sump.
Yep.
Okay.
Still all gravity into the sump. So.
Wow, that is intense and cool.
Yeah. The only downside, a lot of people that don't like it, they're like, well, if you get something happening in one tank, it's going to be all over. But the cool part about the system is, if you look over here, where it feeds into the tanks, if I really have something that's happening in a tank and I want to isolate it, I can just turn it off from the system. I just close a valve, it's no longer on the system, and then I can take care of what I need to. But the way I look at it, I mean, think about some of these big aquariums. Like if you go to the Dallas Aquarium, they have huge tanks, huge filters, and all those fish in there. And honestly, the trade-off is totally worth it because I don't have to do a lot of maintenance on this stuff.
Yeah. I'm
not doing, and I've got automatic water changes happening too. That's another thing that I did on this system. Before I could just do it from the sump, but my nitrates were at about 20 parts per million, and I wanted to bring them down for the angels. And so now I've got water feeding into the tanks as well and draining out. So if you look right up here and you look at this black line, there's water shooting in. And that's for this system. Okay. I've got another one, and you can see it right over the sink here. This is where I've got for the automatic water changes. It goes through, for the automatic water changes, it goes through this filter system, comes up, and then I've got some going in this tank, and then enough going into that tank. And that's one of the sources of fresh water that comes in. And then I've got an overflow on the sump that goes out to the drain. And then I've also got, this is
so the RO unit is constantly going?
Well, and it's not a full RO unit because it's just these three. All I have on here, it's constantly going, but it's only these three, and they're just taking care of any chlorines or chloramines. That's it. So it's not a true RO system. I don't have wastewater coming out.
Or just carbon.
It's just, yeah, exactly. I had those, and so I made them work. Okay. That's all that is. And then I've got, this is another thing to the system, because I wanted a bit more water, but I didn't want to raise up my water bill. So we are going to step outside, because you're going to look at, right over here, I don't know if you can see this back here. So I've got water coming out of here. Okay? And this is coming from an IBC tote outside. There's carbon inside of this hang-on-back filter, and there's the same thing happening on that grow bed. But out here, if you come out this way and look over here, I've got these IBC totes plumbed together, and they will go and they'll collect rainwater. Okay, the rainwater comes in, it goes through here, any of the big sediments or anything drains down, comes up, then goes into the IBC totes, and when they're too low, I'll go and I'll just put water in it from the hose.
Okay.
And then it's got this right here. That's, well, there we go. Sometimes you got to do that with it.
I do a lot.
But sometimes, so that is pumping water, and you can see the black line just like you would with like an ice maker on your fridge.
Your gutter system is catching the water.
Catching the water.
Putting into this.
Putting into this. Comes out, comes over here, feeds the water inside. I have it coming through the vent, that line.
Okay.
And then it goes and feeds more water into the systems.
Okay. So not only coming from the carbon blocks,
right,
but also
from here, yes. And part of this is I've got a Y here because I don't want to worry about going and treating this water all the time if I put hose water in it. So it's got water that it comes in here, and then it's always splashing into this other one. So there's aeration, and it's not enough, plus I have the carbon, that's not enough that it's going to make any kind of difference to the chlorine and chloramines. And after a day, it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two sources of the water that's going in that's also doing an automatic water change on all the systems.
Okay.
All the tanks. And while we're out here, we can take a look. This is the sunroom. That was the addition I had built. So you can see the windows and stuff. I wanted that. I wanted sunlight into the room, and they're
full intentions of being a fish room.
Exactly, yes. Full intentions of being a fish room and incorporating aquaponics to filter the tanks.
That is cool.
Yeah, and you can come on this side even and see. I mean, there's windows all around it. And the summer, I just opened up the windows. You know, my thinking was, a lot of people, you make a car payment, full coverage insurance. I just buy a used car. I've got 2 of them. And with the money I would spend on a new car, instead I have a fish room built, sunroom built. And when I sell the property, I'll recoup that cost.
Yeah.
And while I'm here,
and the joy of
having a fish room that is also like I'm selling fish, you know, I'm selling stuff, and yeah, I just love it. So.
But you do, most of them I see you have a sponge filter also going?
Yes, sponge filters in most of the tanks. I've also got the matten filters as tank dividers in a lot of the tanks, just to split them up. Like a lot of these 29s, I've got matten filters in between them. That way I can put different things on each side. I figure you can't have too much filtration. As long as you have housing for beneficial bacteria, it's only going to populate enough depending on the bioload that you have. All right, so you can't really go wrong with your filtration unless you're worried about some of your more delicate plants. Obviously, my plants are fine. I mean, even these are all live plants in here. You know, in the 90 gallon, I've got a bunch of plants in there, and they're doing fantastic. I got Vallisneria that I've got to trim and stuff in here. And again, the lights are LED shop lights, so the power bill is not much because it's all LED.
Yeah.
And then
I'm surprised you have any nitrates.
Well, and you want some nitrates for the plants.
Yeah.
You do.
They haven't already absorbed them all.
Well, and that's what I thought might happen, but I wasn't sure. I've had this room running for a bit over a year, so I thought maybe I wouldn't have any, but I do. You still have nitrates. And so I try to keep it around 10 parts per million, and doing just the 5 gallons or something an hour that comes in to these systems really just keeps it right at the level that I need it, and still is growing plants, because even the pothos, I start nailing it to the boards as kind of decoration, because it just keeps growing.
Let's talk about that.
Sure.
That's going to be a question. Where does this thing originate at?
I went and I put them on the back of every hang-on back filter.
Okay.
That's where they originated. And then I've got them growing out of places that I'm like, it'll grow under a stand. I'm like, where did you even come from? I have no idea. Because that's what's happening. They're just, and if you look, here, let's take a look at this real quick. People don't realize this pothos will grow underwater. And it'll go and it will root in there.
Wow.
I mean, I've got micro swords in here and stuff like that. The pothos doesn't care. It said, I want some of that. And it'll grow in there. So it's growing inside of the water over here, coming out. But they originate, I cut off trimmings and I stick them in the hang on back filter. Same with the bamboo and stuff. If you look right here, I mean, look at this bamboo. This is coming just off of hang on back filter. And I even gave some of that a trim to somebody recently, and I've got more on some of these other ones. And it's just these hang on back filters that they're not plugged in. I just want water to come in from the system, come up, and then it drains in, and wherever it drains in from the next level, it goes on these hang on back filters I've accumulated over the years. The pothos is stuck in there. It goes, it puts roots in there, and then it starts growing and throws roots everywhere. And just to get it out of my way, and I like it as kind of decoration, it gives it a jungle look, I'll get some of these nails and just start guiding where it's growing. But I mean, the roots are...
Have you seen it cause any problems?
No, some people, they have pothos and it affects some of their aquatic plants because it's taking up so many nutrients. My whole thing in this fish room, I'm all about the fish first. If the fish are happy, I'm happy. So if I have plants that don't make it, well, if it dies, it dies. The pothos is not dying, so it can stay because it's growing, and yeah, I just have to cut it and I'll give it away. I mean, and this is a little over a year of growth on some of this.
Oh,
you know?
my goodness, wow.
But it's going crazy.
Okay, did I get everything? The filtration, lights?
My lights are on timers.
Okay.
And what I do is I'll do like 4 hours on, 2 hours off. And I could probably cut back, but I do about 3 cycles of that. Maybe, is it 3? It's somewhere around there. I don't know. I know they don't get more than 12 hours. Okay. I might need to cut it down to 8, but that's just what it is right now. But I try to stagger it because I read somewhere that algae needs constant light to conduct photosynthesis and plants don't. But I don't know if that really is helping in the sunroom because it's always getting light, but I'm all right with that. Algae's just aesthetics. I'm cool with it. The fish don't care. Fish don't care. I don't care.
Thanks again, guys, for joining me for the final episode of Patrick's Fish Room. I hope you guys absolutely enjoyed this. Be sure and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed already. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you got any comments. So thanks again, guys, and God bless.